Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown, Life of a Spiritual Nomad. My name is Wes Coons, and welcome back. This is where we break generational curses, create generational blessings. We open realms and cross dimensions to help you maneuver through your spiritual journey, and I am happy to be your guide. We are on special location at my good friend Mandy's house. Hey, Mandy.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Not bad. Had a wonderful week.
Hey, thank you for having us here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I say us because it's me and my other personalities. So, yeah. So, by the way, Abby, the German Shepherd, was pissed. So I said, "You're not going." She thinks she should go everywhere.
Oh, she would have been allowed. I got that next time. Next
Yes.
time you come over, she'll have to come and hang out in the backyard.
Yeah, she'll like that.
Yeah.
She doesn't get the concept that she can't go and be entertained at 24/7. She goes to doggy daycare 3 times a week, then goes to work and goes to the restaurants, goes on the boat, goes in the car, those things. Yeah.
Oh, a typical dog, Velcro dog.
So help us understand what you do. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I got invited to your place and we did some kind of a heart ceremony, something. Can you explain that to me? What did we do?
Okay, I partnered with a good friend of mine, and we are providing what we are calling surrender sessions.
Okay.
And she guides you through a journey where you allow yourself to surrender what no longer serves you, or you surrender into a positive aspect that you are looking for. My portion of it is I am a Reiki master. I provide rope and Reiki. So I am a Shibari artist that is typically found in the adult alternative lifestyle, 18 and up. And I take it is an art form for me, and I use the body as a canvas. And then we can go from there.
Well, that's fair. But the ceremony we did was not an adult. I mean, you might have people that need to be 18.
That's the origin of, that's where I learned about Shibari.
Nice.
So I've always been a pattern recognizer. I've always loved string things, as I call it. That's my thingy. String things. That includes fiber arts, fabric, sewing, crochet, embroidery, knitting. I first fell in love with the concept of doing knots in Girl Scouts. So yeah. So I was learning that there's knots can be used for many different things. And then as I went down my path and I started doing more and more research, many hours in the library, I learned that knots also are magical. There's a whole big history behind knots. One of my favorite stories is, I don't remember which American subculture it is, but one of them, it's either the Pennsylvania Dutch crochet or some other really fancy like lace crochet, but you purposely make mistakes in a new baby's blanket to protect the baby.
Really?
Yeah. So there's fascinating tales about knitting like that. And it's, yeah.
So what are you protecting it from, and what does the mistake do?
It depends on which area you're coming from. I understand it to be that you are protecting them from any negative spirits.
Okay.
You are any negative or baneful energy sent their way. The mistake is purposely put in there as almost like a signature, like a ward or a sigil that would be think Elsa and the blanket in Elsa. Think any traditional weaving pattern that is specifically related to groups of people.
Sure.
Those all carry energy and magic, dare we say.
That's cool. I did not know that. Well, when I started my spiritual journey, if you listen to the show, it started with a haunted house. And one of the priests told me, and I never knew this, he said that you get baptized as a baby is basically getting the evil, the dark demons or evil entities or whatever, if they're attached to the child, off. I never knew that. I was shocked he said that. I was at the Catholic Church. I never really went to church. So he was a trip. He's like, "Hey man, I don't mess with that stuff." He said, "But this is what it looks like." I'm like, okay. So interesting world. So what does, in the ceremony that we did,
Yes.
So we sat there, and then you wrapped this rope around my chest and stuff. So can you explain to me what was that releasing? What was that journey for us?
Oh boy, that is the physical representation of a modality that I have been working on. I don't think there's anything else like it yet that I found on the internet or in research. But this is basically, I've combined the practice of tying and rope with the art form and energy work of Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
So it's right now, it's just called rope and Reiki. There is, when I do it by myself, it's rope, Reiki, and resonance. I also do sound, drumming, and sound bowls and tuning forks. Those are some of my favorite modalities.
Nice.
Sound.
Well, when we went through that, we did a little meditation, some other stuff, and I was surprised on the rope only went around, like twice around my shoulder. I mean,
Yeah.
and basically it went around my wrist and I was holding it. So it's not like it was tied up. And as we were going through that journey, I was shocked to realize all the things that came up from the military for me. I wasn't expecting that. And
It's root work.
yeah.
It's root work.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to go down to brass tacks, it's root work.
Yeah.
That is what I'm after. So my work specializes in the deep wounds and the deep fissures that we have. Have you heard of Wabi-Sabi?
No.
So Wabi-Sabi is, to sum it up horribly, probably, definitely do a Google search on it.
So it's not like what we dip our
no
food in, right? Not wasabi.
No, it's not wasabi. Wabi-Sabi.
Wabi-Sabi, okay.
It is I interpret it as the Japanese philosophy of finding the beauty in imperfection and impermanence.
Nice. I like that.
So there is a art form called kintsugi associated with that same type of mentality. And kintsugi is have you ever seen, like, in museums or history books where there's broken pottery, but it is like along the cracks, there's gold?
Yes.
That's kintsugi.
Kintsugi. Okay.
So that is, you make the imperfections are beautiful in themselves because they tell a story.
Sure.
So we're not just, your scars tell a story, but there's beauty in your imperfection. And instead of glossing over it, I imagine going in and reweaving that area.
Yeah.
So basically, I take and apply gold to the cracks.
I seen something the other day. Somebody posted it. God, what did they say? That the light comes from the cracks. You know,
Yes.
the light in you comes from the broken pieces of you.
Yes.
And the reality is, I guess, if you said that, if you look at that, you're not really broken. That's the beauty part. That's the healed part. That's the part that helps you become more, helps you get comfortable in your skin.
If we have to use the terminology of broken, then you're not whole.
That's right.
All of your pieces are still there. You just have to put them back together.
Yeah. Yeah. For the longest time, everything that didn't look perfect, God, there was so much guilt and shame over that, right? I didn't think I was smart enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't tall enough. I wasn't whatever. And I didn't say the words right. I didn't feel comfortable in this situation at a meeting, and there was guilt and shame around that. And it was just so much. God, I fucking hated that. I hated that. Go home every single day and not feel fucking worthy. Yeah, I don't feel that anymore.
Good.
Yeah, I do like that.
That is, it's not an easy process to get there, though. I'm not going to gloss over it and say that this is a magical fix. This is when you have exhausted all other options. You are at your wit's end and you're just like, I give up.
Yeah.
I give up. Like, I have it, universe, deities, whatever higher power you believe in.
Well, my favorite thing about being at that point where you're at the bottom, you're giving up or whatever, is all we have in front of us is going up.
Oh yeah, there's nowhere to go, where to go but up.
Yeah. And God, I hate to say it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was sitting in Virginia Beach Psych, locked up there, detoxing off of pain medicine, and looking around at the people that were there. And I watched them, they were reminiscing over all the facilities they were in, right? They thought it was funny as shit. And I remember looking at that, and I'm not trying to disrespect them, but I sat there and I'm like, I've got a choice. I can choose to continue down this pathway that has been infinitely painful, or I could do something different. And I went down to my room and I just sat in my room because I didn't want to hear what they were saying. I didn't want to follow their pathway because they were happy where they're at. My first sponsor said I was complaining about my life, and he looked at me and said, "So you're happy where you're at, right?" And I said, "No, you're not hearing me. You're not hearing me." And he looked at me, his name was Joe, and he put his hand on my shoulder. Joe saved my life. And he said, if you weren't happy where you're at, you would fucking do something different. So you got a choice. If you want to hang around me, you can do something different, or you can shut the fuck up.
Yeah. The only constant in life is change.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to change is when you're uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that. And those little things like that that just stuck with me forever. Just like doing the ceremony with you, it didn't fix everything, but it was like that spark. It broke a piece off that needed to be broken off. So if I hadn't said thank you.
You're very welcome. That was when you had mentioned a little bit about your history. I definitely knew what I wanted to hit on, and I just needed a general topic.
Yep.
And you did it all yourself.
Yeah.
I just allowed the energy to flow. I gave it a target. I said, hey, that general area, this is what he wants to work on. And you're the one who did all that work.
Yeah.
You're the one who mended yourself.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So you did a wonderful job on that. And now you're an ordained minister too, right?
Yes.
And
yes, I am.
So you're going to marry somebody this weekend, aren't you?
I am. I have the wonderful pleasure of, I call him, there's a kid, he's 23 now, but I met him when I was doing cybersecurity club at one of our local high schools with a friend of mine. He calls me Mystic Mom now.
Nice.
I lovingly call him Spawn, not of my loins. I got to take him out for his 21st birthday. So his friends, his really good friends, asked me to officiate the ceremony for them.
Cool.
So we'll be doing that down in Carolina tomorrow.
That will be fun.
Yes, I'm so excited.
So I'm ordained. I've never married anybody. I don't know, man. I cry so much these days. I think I'd be up there because I'm feeling everybody's stuff, and I don't want to be up there doing that.
We got to work on getting that, making you award for that then.
Yeah.
A bubble up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I work on it a lot because I do healing work. But when I'm in a group or something like that, and because my daughter's getting married May 30th, and so I'm trying to run through my mind all the different scenarios where I'm going to try not to cry as much. But I guess being the dad, I can do that, right?
Oh, you're totally allowed to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your baby girl. Of course, you're going to be allowed to.
So I wrote our song.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I wrote our song and
fabulous.
had it created, and so I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. I don't know. I'm just, as a parent, I think you do the best that you can do, right?
Well, that's all you can do is try and teach them how to be a decent human being is the best you can do.
Yeah.
All you can do is provide them the tools, and they'll figure out how to use them eventually.
Yeah, pretty much. And since I've been on this healing journey, my daughter told me that she was proud of me for the first time this week.
That's amazing.
Honestly, I didn't think she liked me.
I understand entirely. I've gotten out of a really nasty, unhealthy divorce with my daughter's father.
Yeah.
We've been out for a few years now, officially separated. But one of the first times after the separation, she was staying with me and it was just her and I. She was like, "Mommy, you're so much happier." And I'm like, I know you're not, sweetie, and I know this is a big change, but thank you for saying that, because a happier mommy will be able to make a happier kiddo.
That's right. Well, if you study Ho'oponopono, they talk about as you break and release the things that are haunting you, those generational curses, your child doesn't have to. We're breaking that chain. And like for my daughter, Sydney, in the beginning, I've been on this journey now about 7 years. And in the beginning, I was just an inconvenience and dad's just being weird, which, hey, I could appreciate that statement. But now she follows behind me. She asks, hey, can you clear me? She asks stuff. And I think the greatest gift we can give our children is showing that mom and dad can heal.
Yeah.
Because they're going to follow, even if they don't want to, right? They're going to pay attention and they're going to follow. And that has been fun to do. I've really enjoyed that part of it.
It's fabulous. And on the education of the little ones, my daughter has taken up a lot of the wanting to learn about the magical things and energy work. And she's like, Mommy, my friend at school, I told them about my tarot card deck and they asked me to do a reading for them.
Yeah.
And I was like, you cannot take your card to school, but you can do a FaceTime call with them.
That's cool. Well, our kids are coming in enlightened. I don't know what this place is going to look like in 20 or 30 years when they're all adults. Yeah, it's going to be cool.
I cannot wait to see the next generation of all of our energy workers happen.
Yep. So now you're Reiki master, right?
Yes.
How long have you been doing Reiki?
Reiki itself, hold on, it's 26, right?
Yes, 2026.
Can we count when I was a minor?
Sure.
Okay, so 96.
Wow,
30 years.
okay.
30 years is when I started figuring out everything. When that I can recall back to my first time doing the modality we call Reiki right now.
Hey, how did we get to the point where we can remember back 30 years? I'm 56. I'm trying to figure out this week, how the fuck did I get to 56?
I have no idea. Yeah.
I don't either. Hey, it seemed like last Tuesday.
I just hit 40 and my 40s are going to be so much better than my 30s. Like 30s were better than the 20s. I cannot wait to see what the 40s hold.
Yeah, my 50s has been pretty good. Everything else was relatively painful, but I found my journey in my 50s. It's
when I had my daughter. I had my daughter later in life when I was 28. So she's in middle school now, which is fabulous. Wonderful preteen hormones. But later in life was great. And it was like right around 30. So I got lucky and I was like, this is the kind of stuff I want to do. And I've been working towards it and finally able to start coming out in the community and talking about it more.
Yeah. And good for you for finding that. And the nice thing is kind of the cool thing now. It's more mainstream. My friend Trinae that owns a Reiki Wellness Center, she talks about all the time, 30, 40 years ago, whatever it was when she started, she said it wasn't cool. So
we were woo-woo.
Yeah. And she said she was different because she said back then everybody had hairy armpits, hairy legs and stuff like that. And she said, I walked around in high heels and a little top. So
yeah,
wasn't that mainstream for that group. So it's definitely diversified and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. So how has doing healing work, the things, because you do a lot of different modalities, how has that changed you as a parent, as a human being, as whatever? I mean, I guess really what I'm asking is, what has given you the most freedom?
Well, which modality?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Was there a modality that gave you more freedom? Because I don't have a ton of modalities, but Reiki gave me a freedom that I didn't have before. I was told that you can live a Reiki blessed life, and I didn't know what that was. I just knew I didn't want to fucking look in the mirror and hate what I see anymore. And so I started paying attention to what is a Reiki blessed life, and that's learning how life happens for me and not to me, and how everything that shows up in my life is not necessarily my fault, it's my energy. And when I started learning that, things changed quickly for me.
I understand that. I experienced it a little bit differently. So I was always told I was too sparkly.
Okay.
Too
Yeah.
much. So I dulled and hid a lot of everything. So for me, it was finding how to be sparkly and shiny and obnoxious and too bright and annoying for everybody again. And in doing that, I'm eclectic. I
Yes, you are.
cannot pick one thing. I mean, I've got blue hair. I work a day job at a computer desk. Like,
Well, the hair that you have is blue, half your head shaved. So
yeah, it's a mohawk right now.
yeah, right. I like it.
But I'm talking to CEOs, and I have a gentleman that's calling me that's up in Washington right now talking with people in suits. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I do during the daytime. And I started in the piercing industry. So I've always found ways to alter the nervous system. So for me, it is, how can I alter and reprogram my nervous system? Computer science is where my background is. That's where my official schooling that I spent a lot of money on, that I barely used the actual degree during the day. I get to use it again here soon on a new project, so I'm
Nice.
excited. It's been like 10 years since I've programmed anything, really. But being able to recognize patterns and coding and psychology really helped me understand how everything works. And the psychology helped me understand myself. And then the computer science, understanding the psychology of computers is how I equate computer science.
Yeah.
It is, how do we build, like, down to binary? Like, how does the binary translate into readable alphanumeric characters that we understand? How does the CPU affect everything else within the computer?
Well, that's
did
what you.
electrical engineering part of it too, so it was great. But how does everything work together? And then if you equate a computer to the person, then if you're running on a dead battery.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, that work is basically what you're doing with people.
Yes, exactly. That is where the whole concept of my modality comes from. I imagine, like, bugs, like when there's all sorts of bug reports, or when all of our Windows patches get updated, and oh no, somebody screwed up the patches and added a bug to the updates. Well, shoot, we have to do an emergency update. So I'm neurodivergent, and a funny analogy I like to give everybody to understand is that the world we live in right now is a Windows-based world. I'm custom built Linux operating system, given Windows hardware, trying to pretend like I'm a Windows machine, but I'm Linux on the inside.
Sure.
It's the best way to explain it. So we've had to find hacks to work in this world when that's just programming. And if you can take that from the physical world and put it into the energetic world, it's all a little bit of your imagination.
Yeah. Well, this work is visualization and intention.
Yes.
And yeah, I was friends with somebody during COVID and new to all this journey. And she kept telling me all the time, she would reiterate that all the time. And she would reiterate that my words were not in alignment. I mean, if we hung out, she would say it like 50 times, and it would just drive me nuts. I didn't understand at the time how significant that is. And when I kind of
Why
look,
do they call it spelling?
yeah,
Words
that's true.
hold power.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true. And it's funny, I was just kind of reflecting on that on the way over here, because I don't know, something happened, and I remember thinking to myself, where the old West would go down that rabbit hole of being frustrated or anger, or say, oh, that person's a fucking idiot or something like that in my mind. And I didn't anymore. I said to myself, I was like, well, they're doing the best that they can, and I know that person's heart's in a good place. And for me to think that versus the other and is a lot. How much it's changed my reality, how much it's changed so much.
I have a good one that I like to live by, especially when I'm feeling really snarky. I hope you have the day you deserve.
Have the day you deserve. That's funny.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You've been doing this journey way longer than me. There's people, the funny thing is we're in over 100 countries. There's people from Spain listening. We have a wonderful community in Russia and all over the place. And somebody's newer on their journey. What advice would you give them? Somebody maybe is just trying to figure it out, trying to find how to love themselves, not be in pain. What would you suggest?
Love themselves and not be in, well,
not
pain is, unfortunately, in my experience, pain is inevitable. Mental pain, physical pain, emotional pain, psychological pain. I mean, it's just the world we live in right now.
Sure.
We don't have a kumbaya, everybody loves everybody, fluffy marshmallow world at the moment. Thing is, accept the fuck out of that. That's something called radical acceptance. So,
radical acceptance.
yes.
Okay.
So it is my extreme version of Wabi-Sabi is it is what it fucking is. I don't like it right now. Well, that can go in the fuck it bucket for a moment and I'll deal with it later.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I know when somebody suggested, because for the longest time, I did not know how to, I didn't go around and say, hey, I'm Wes, I'm this raped little boy, but I didn't know how to break that energy of I was this raped little boy.
Can you give yourself a hug?
Yes, I can.
Good.
Yeah, and I did. And
Can other people give you hugs yet?
within reason.
Well, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Within reason is acceptable because you are still setting boundaries and boundaries. Boundaries is another important piece on your healing journey. If you don't have boundaries for yourself and others, you're just going to keep repeating the same patterns.
Yep. Yeah, I think when I was told that I can take that, so I had it in the box of this is who I am. Then they said, well, why don't you put it in the box of that was an experience that you experienced? I'm like, what do you mean? It's just said, rewrite your story, choose.
Reprogram.
Yeah, choose to not be that. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying it wasn't painful, but I got to choose that. And that was a story in the Book of Wes from 50 years ago or whatever, right?
So we'll take what I envisioned happening for you was whatever pain story you had, you still own that story. That is still part of your history. However, we don't have to reminisce on it. We don't have to feel the pain of it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm intending to, when I perform my modality, it is removing the pain spot. Think of it like skin grafting, getting tumors removed. I think of it that in depth. I've had cysts removed out of my arms. Thankfully, I got I got tied. I'm waiting to get my scooped like a pumpkin due to my endometriosis, but that'll happen one day. But it's a medical energetic procedure in my brain. Like it's that detailed.
Nice. I like it. So we're getting close on time.
Okay.
And if somebody wanted to connect with you, if somebody wanted to have you do some work for them, you know, what does that look like? How can they find you? And where would they find you?
Right now, I'm still setting up the website. My email is up and running. I am available at Mandy at thealchemicalartisans.com.
Oh, that's an easy website to remember.
Yeah, thealchemicalartisans.com.
I got to figure out how to spell the fucking thing. You text it to me and I'll put it I'll put it on the link.
Put the link up. But that's where it is right now. Currently, I don't have a physical location to invite anyone into, so I am mobile.
Nice.
And we are hosting at the, where is it? What is it called? Boiling Point Boudoir Studio is what it's listed as on Google Maps and Amazon, Apple Maps. Once a month, Katya and I will be hosting Surrender Sessions, where that is the experience you got to have a few weeks ago, where Katya will be guiding you through a transformational journey where you will release whatever you need to, and I will be performing the rope and Reiki energy healing for it.
Nice. So do you know what your website address is going to be?
It is thealchemicalartisans.com.
Cool. I like that.
I have a very basic one up right now. I'm working on updating it because coding and web development is also in my history.
Well, I don't know half of the stuff that you were talking about earlier, but when it came to technology, but I know you're very gifted at what you do.
Thank you.
And the cool thing is when you're building your website and you're doing that, I know all the love and the Reiki and the healing and your journey is embedded in that energy, and the people that are going to find you are going to show up and you're going to change people's lives like you did mine. So thank you. Yeah.
That's what I am hoping to leave behind.
Yeah. So that's cool. So if you guys want to catch up with Mandy, just reach out to me if you're having a hard time figuring it out. VBHealer, VBHealer.com. You can find me on Instagram. And I also wanted to say thank you for listening. We're in over 100 countries. And I got to be honest, I don't understand that. And I just want to say I'm grateful. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It has been wonderful since we have been introduced.
It has been. And so what a nice, unexpected journey, unexpected new friendship. And I'm looking forward to seeing your website up. I'm looking forward to you having these groups come in and changing all these people's lives, because you're powerful.
Thank you.
And it's fun to watch.
Thank you very much.
But thank you. And thanks everybody for listening to the show. I think, gosh, we're coming up on season 8 here soon.
Fabulous.
Yeah, right? So, but thank you. And I will see you next time.
Great. Thanks.
Thanks.